Hello YouTube, Dr. Charlie Metcalf here with another book review. Today I have Robin Sharma's The 5 a.m. Club. Own your morning, elevate your life. Robin Sharma, The 5 a.m. Club. Couple notes here for you, just wanted to walk through this with you. Number one, got turned on to this book via a Robin Sharma video that is titled, it's a YouTube video titled How to Wake Up Early, in that he outlines kind of the basic premise of this book and the 20-20-20 formula. That video is older than the book. This book is newer, has just been released. And so I really enjoyed that video, kind of one of those that you watch multiple times, and even a YouTube video that you would take notes on. And so was excited when I saw the book come out and actually pre-ordered the book. So this book outlines being able to set and instill the habit of waking up at 5 a.m. every morning and going through a growth process called the 20-20-20 formula of being able to move and reflect and grow every single morning, and just basically the idea that you own your morning, elevate your life, that through this instilling this habit that you continue to grow and grow and grow in a compound cumulative effect. You end up living a better life. So it is of course it contains kind of self-leadership, self-improvement principles. These principles in this book are wrapped up in this kind of cheesy leadership fable with a female entrepreneur, a male artist, and an eccentric billionaire passing lessons on from one of his leadership gurus. And so the storyline's kind of cheesy. The girl's on the brink, she's suicidal, and she ends up becoming a world-class entrepreneur. She had her own business before, whatever. The guy's kind of a slacker, and he ends up becoming a productive artist. Of course, they fall in love throughout the book, which didn't understand why that was necessary, but anyhow. And then they're tracking through geographical locations, which I think he could have used more effectively, but anyhow. They start out in a city, they fly to Mauritius, which is an island off the coast of South Africa. New for me, I hadn't heard of it, so if I end up going there and cross that off my bucket list, I ended up looking it up. Looks like a beautiful area. Anyhow, then they go to the Taj Mahal, and then they go to Rome, and then they go to Sao Paulo and South America, and then they end the trip in South Africa. At Robben Island, where Nelson Mandela was held captive. And so they're getting little lessons at each of these different locations or whatever. Overall, the book's got a ton of leadership quotes from people like Roosevelt, Orwell, Mandela, Mother Teresa, Steve Jobs, Mark Twain, Einstein, Marcus Aurelius. So just a broad variety of quotes on a number of different topics that he incorporates into the text there. Like I said, the main thing about this 5 a.m. club is to instill this golden hour, this hour of power, this victory hour, whatever you want to call it, and to use this 20-20 formula. So he'll go through and kind of highlight the importance of this 5 a.m. over and over, a couple different chapters, and work some of this leadership fable story with these characters, and then builds up to the 20-20-20 formula. So the 20-20 formula is to move for 20 minutes. So he's going to want you to exercise. He's going to want you to sweat. Doesn't really matter what it is, as long as it's strenuous enough to get you moving, get you sweating. Next, to move into reflection, which would be meditation, journaling type deal. And then the last 20 minutes of your hour would be growth, and that would be through reading or through a podcast type deal. And so you see that 20-20-20 emphasized throughout the book over and over again, and the importance of it and how to instill it. He'll go through and move on and talk about having not only a good mindset, but a good heart set, a good soul set, a good health set. So it is kind of holistic approach in that. He'll talk about habit formation in this. He's got like a 4-loop cycle. So this is The Power of Habit, and pretty popular book, and he talks about having a cue and a routine and a reward, and Sharma will talk about having a trigger, a ritual, a reward, and repetition, and being able to do that. He divides it up into a 66-day period to instill a habit. So the first 22 days is the destructive phase, where you're kind of destroying old habits. The next 22 days is more of an installation phase, where you're training your body, your mind in this new habit. And then the last 22 days is an integration phase. And so he says at the end of a 66-day period, you'll get that habit locked in. And so still, even with the Power of Habit and reading Atomic Habits as well now, like the science on the exact date, time, like, if you do this for 8 days or 14 days or 21 days or whatever, I don't think any of that's been confirmed by science. I think a lot of it depends on what habit you're trying to instill and just how difficult it is. So anyhow, but he breaks it 66 days. And I would say that throughout the book, he will go through and integrate contemporary scholarship, contemporary other writers, Angela Duckworth's book Grit, and he'll talk about her in a little bit. He'll talk about the 10,000 hour rule from the guy from FSU and all this other stuff. So he's taking research-based stuff. Same thing he says when he talks about brain growth. I mean, there's good research out, and he kind of distills it, waters it down, expresses it in more lay terms for from the guru through, from the eccentric billionaire guy to these, characters in his story. So it's good there. He also talks about setting up a nightly ritual to help with the morning routine. So, like, you're not going to be able to get up at 5 a.m. if you're staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning watching TV. He'll talk about the power of sleep. And then towards the end of the book, like, he'll rush through a bunch of different topics. So he'll talk about the 10 tactics of genius, the twin cycles of elite performance, people, pursuit, places, 10 billionaire maxims, and 4 virtues of world changers. And so all these are kind of just, like, kudos to him for giving us this much material, but the way they're presented just seems rushed. So these are the 10 tactics of lifelong genius. The 90-91 rule, which basically talks about for 90 days setting aside the first 90 minutes of your day to work on the most important thing. 60-10 method, to work for 60 minutes and 10-minute break. Daily 5. Second wind workout would be like an afternoon workout to give you kind of an energy boost at the end of the day. Talks about getting deep tissue massages in there. The twin cycles of elite performance. So he'll talk about having this deep refueling cycle combined with this high excellence cycle. And to me, you've got this high performance versus this deep renewal. Work hard, play hard, and not just play hard, but kind of enjoy and refuel your batteries. What else is on here? 280, what did I put here? This is Joy as GPS, talking about being around people who fuel your joy, pursuits that feed your bliss, and only be in those places that make you feel most alive. 7 virtues of a world changer. Like I said, a lot of these could be almost their own books by themselves, but he kind of just shoves them in here at the end. Bravery, forgiveness, integrity, understanding, sincerity, politeness, humility, whatever. So just to give you an overview, want to look through some of the pros and cons. Number 1, it's, to me, the pros, it is a self-help book. It's this kind of carpe diem, seize the day, take control of your life. Life's short, it's fragile, tomorrow's not guaranteed, make the most of today. One of his neat goals, like, he'll talk about increasing your income and things like that, but overall he'll put more of an emphasis on your impact in this world. So you're improving yourself in order to serve the world better, to move from mediocre to world class, and be able to share your gifts and talents with the world through service. So I think that's a plus. Another thing he'll talk about, good daily habits, like, versus willpower. Like, willpower is not going to cut it, but you have just kind of amazing results from instilling habits that that you can do on a daily basis. So I want to read a quick quote here. He says, small, daily, seemingly insignificant improvements, when done consistently over time, do yield staggering results. Daily micro wins and infinitesimal optimizations really are the surest way to a life that you'll be ever so proud of at the end. And so this reminds me of, this is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. This is The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. These 2 books, same type of thing, habit formation, going through small incremental changes, but when you're doing those changes on a daily basis, they're adding up every single day, and at the end you have this wonderful net result. A couple of negatives towards the book. Number one, it is a long book, so there's 300 pages. Like I said, kudos to him for all the info, but the last half of the book, he's doing the cheesy kind of character formation with the fable stuff going on in the front, and then I say fable, I mean it's a regular story. So he does that kind of building up and why the importance of the 5 a.m. club and all the stuff, and then build to the 20-20-20 formula. Then he finally gives you that, and then after that it's like this mad rush to get to the end, and there's just like this whole bunch of chapters with a bunch of deep key principles, but he doesn't spend a lot of time unpacking them. So the end of the book feels rushed. If you're familiar with Robin Sharma, every now and then you just get these like cheesy, whatever. Let me read this to you. How do we want to start here? And when your 4 interior empires escalate through your effortful self-purification, your supreme self begins to assume command. And so some of them, like I said, they're just kind of cheesy positive statements that he's using, whatever alliteration and working on this, but every now and those they're just kind of annoying and they bother me, so they may not bother everybody. The other thing that I'd say is that as a whole, like, he's going to subscribe to kind of a new age-y prosperity gospel, like the universe is conspiring to help you out and to feed you and all that stuff. And I think that's just one of the main flaws with a lot of self-help books, that it's not going to point to Jesus, to Christianity as the answer for our sin problem, versus we're just stuck in this, and through self-improvement we're going to be able to pull ourselves out. And guess what? This mystical power of the universe is going to bring you happiness and peace and joy, and especially towards the end you get some of that, where your wealth is going to just kind of come into your life if you dedicate to taking a friend out to lunch, that like you giving that money, and the power of the universe is going to replace that money quickly because you had faith to be generous with it. So anyhow, some of that's in there just to let you know about it. Overall, I would say this: if you like Robin Sharma, which I do, this is his other book that I really enjoyed, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. This one, same type of stuff as far as going through and looking at a bunch of different key principles that he's breaking down, and kind of tries to give you a story, and through telling the story he's going to go through and give you a symbol and a virtue and the wisdom and techniques behind it. And so this, like I said, I recommend this one as well. Overall, if you like Robin Sharma, go out, immediately purchase the book. If you haven't heard of Robin Sharma, you don't know what he's about, I would say watch his video on how to wake up early. If you watch that video and you give it a thumbs up, purchase this book. It will go through and explain it even in more detail. If you watch that video and you're like, I give it a thumbs down, I'd say skip this book. But anyhow, like I said, I enjoyed it, something different, and the best part will come in the application of it, right? And so being able to go through and actually put these things into practice. So anyhow, Robin Sharma, the 5 a.m. Club, Own Your Morning, Elevate Your Life. Oh, here's a little design. He's got different drawings throughout the book, but this one's on the cover, and it's got this top hat with the death and the heart and all this stuff. And I'm reading the book, and my son's like, hey, what's up with that logo? And I'm like, I don't know. I'll probably find out in the book. Well, I didn't find out anywhere in the book. So I have no idea why he has this goofy little top hat with the skull and crossbones on it, and the heart with the arrow through it. So Robin, if you're out there, we'd love to know what that is, and if it was a tattoo from one of the characters in the book, or if it was something that the editor chopped later, or what the deal was. I don't know. But I'd love to figure out what that is. And if you know what it is, hey, leave a comment below. I'd love to know, because honestly, like I said, went through the entire book and I was like, oh, I'll find out what that means. No clue. So anyhow, hope you're having a great day, and we'll see you next time.